This is the man who has won Indianapolis and Le Mans, the world's two most famous races in one summer. Now he tries for an unprecedented Grand Slam by moving to the stock car circuit. Standing in his way are drivers like Richard Petty, leading so far for this year's NASCAR championship. Sam McQuagg, an up-and-coming driver who won this race last year. And here's Cale Yarborough, the likable South Carolinian, recent winner of the Atlanta 500. The man who won the pole for this Firecracker 400, Darrell Dieringer, at a speed of almost 180 miles an hour. And Mario Andretti, Foyt's biggest rival at Indianapolis, here also again today. You'll see it on ABC's Wide World of Sports. Since the last day of May, ABC has brought you exclusively the Indianapolis 500, the 24 Hours of Le Mans, and now the summer's big stock car race, the Firecracker 400 from Daytona Beach, Florida. 39 cars have qualified, and at least 15 of them have a solid chance to win. It's a tremendous field, the fastest field in history. Should really be something. I'm Jim McKay, speaking to you from the very highest point here at Daytona International Speedway, and with me is our expert commentator today, the very recently retired stock car racing champion, Fred Lorenzen. Fred, the magic word here seems to be speed. It always is, but on this occasion, not one car, but many of them have been turning fantastic speeds in qualifying and practice.
Well, they sure have, Jim. I've been here all week, and a lot of them are cars running well over 180, and it's just going to be a fantastic race. I look for it to be a record breaker and an average well over 160.
When you say a record breaker, you mean what, the fastest stock car race in history?
I would say so, ever to be.
Where's this all going to end? It seems like a couple of years ago we're saying 150 miles an hour was, for an average, was like the 4-minute mile.
Well,
now it's 180.
I thought so too, Jim, but every time we come back here, it seems like they pick up 5 miles an hour. I thought it was going to end at 160. Now, I just have no idea because it seems like the manufacturers are building the cars better. They're getting more horsepower in the engines. The tire companies say when the cars are running 150, we didn't have an interliner. Now that we picked up speeds, a lot of people think, well, it'll be a lot more dangerous, so do the drivers. The tire companies get an interliner to make it much safer. When you blow a tire, you don't hit the wall. Also, we're using spoilers on the back to keep the cars secure. The tires have gotten maybe 4 inches wider. So driving 180 here right now is just like it was 4 years ago driving 145. The cars steers very well.
Still feels pretty fast, I imagine.
It feels fast, but...
Right now, let's check in down in the pits with our man in the pits, the editor of National Speed Sport News, Chris Economaki, with A.J. Foyt.
Thanks, Jim. Well, A.J., I hope you're not superstitious. You're starting 13th today, but you've won this race twice before. You think you can pull it off a third time?
Well, Chris, I sure hope to. We're going to try awful hard.
How will you drive the race, A.J.?
Well, I think we'll just start off and see how the race progresses and then go from there.
You've won at Indianapolis and you won at Le Mans. Is there any similarity in this kind of a race in those two?
Well, yes, they're all pretty much the same. You have to stay in contention all day and run very hard to win any race, and this is what we have plans, and then after the race halfway gone, we'll try to run a little harder if we can.
You'll sort of play it by ear the first half and then really go hard during the last half.
That's right, Chris.
What about pit stops, A.J.? Do you have a good crew?
Yes, Banjo Matthews that builds the car has a terrific pit crew. They're the boys that pitted for me at Indianapolis on my fuel stops and did a fantastic job there, so I don't think we have no problem there.
Do you have any arrangements made to team up with another driver in the drafting combine?
No, not at the present time. Just whoever I can hook on to that's running the fastest.
We'll have a good drive.
Thank you, Chris.
And now, back to you, Jim McKay.
That was A.J. Foyt, the man in the spotlight here at Daytona right now. Fine crowd on hand, more than 40,000 people. Weather conditions pleasant, although hot, in the 90s already. Here's the chart of the course, Freddie.
Jim, back there in the backstretch at the end is really the fastest part of the racetrack. They run right at 190 miles an hour going into that third turn.
And there are a couple other little places I think we can probably pick up as we go along here. Right now, the cars are in line, just about ready for the start.
Start your engine.
And there was that traditional American cry of, gentlemen, start your engines. And the familiar roar. The cars in two lines. On the right of your screen is Darrell Dieringer, and here go the balloons. Red, white, and blue this time for the 4th of July week. Now one row moving out, but look at this, Fred. Looks like Richard Petty can't get started.
It sure is, Jim, and he was having trouble late yesterday for the last hour of practice. He had ignition problems, and they never did get it fixed, it looks like. This could be very critical.
You don't see this too often in stock car racing, do you?
I've never seen it before, and if they don't get it started, the race will start. 2 laps around, and it'll be on the green flag.
Of course, he still has a little time, as you indicated. 2 laps around before the green flag comes down. He'll still have time to move up and get in position if he gets started, and it looks like he is now.
He sure is, Jim.
Petty finally underway, and we'll be back for the start in a minute. We're just about ready for the start of the Firecracker 400. On the pole, down low there's Darrell Derringer, number 26, right alongside him, Cale Yarborough in car number 21. Behind them in the second row, it's Buddy Baker in car number 3 and Bobby Isaac in 71. Then we'll have David Pearson in number 17, Sam McQuagg in 37. And in the fourth row, Mario Andretti in number 11, Dick Hutcherson in number 29. Now here's what Darrell Derringer said to me a few minutes ago about the advantages of being in the pole position.
Well, it means quite a bit. Not only the prestige part of it, but it gives you a lot of confidence that you got a car capable of being out front.
So we know that that's a confident Darrell Derringer, the first car there as they head for this green flag, and they've got it. The race is underway, and Derringer has the lead that quickly. In back of him, we have Cale Yarborough, and we have Buddy Baker, David Pearson moving up very quickly. Everybody jockeying for a position, but Derringer very quickly with the lead. You can't get hurt when there's nobody in front of you. Buddy's coming awful quick, Fred.
He sure is, Jim. He told me right before the race, he said he was going to sure try to lead at this first one, and I look for him maybe to later.
He sure is. He is, in fact, leading it right now. And trailing him is Cale Yarborough, now in second place, and there comes David Pearson in the dark car there in third, but in third place right now.
Looks like Cale's challenging Buddy. It'll be quite interesting to see who gets who coming off the fourth turn.
That's right. Cale Yarborough on the left in car number 21. And now here comes David Pearson in number 17, bidding for the lead, but dropping back. 5 cars just a couple of feet apart here as they head for the second lap. There's still Buddy Baker and David Pearson right behind him now in car number 17, and car number 21 is Cale Yarborough in third position. Behind them, there's at least 8 or 9 other cars that could move into this scramble in a split second, just about.
It sure could, Jim. You'll notice when they come off this fourth turn, they move around a little bit. There's a hump down there, and also the cars are running so close together. There goes Richard Petty back out. He must have been in the pits with some more.
He made a very quick pit stop again after just going 1 lap, so he obviously has big problems, Fred.
He sure does, and I think he'll have them most of the day. He may try to stick it out there to try to get the points for the championship, but he's certainly not a contender, it doesn't look like.
Buddy Baker in number 3, still the leader. Remember, his father, by the way, Buck Baker, is also in this race. David Pearson is second. And now here we have Bobby Isaac in car number 71. He's been flying and has moved up into third position ahead of Cale Yarborough in 21. Darrell Derringer, by the way, I have the feeling, has dropped back intentionally. Did you say that's right, Fred?
I think so. I think he's just laying back.
Excuse me, Freddie. Look who's in the pits. It's A.J. Foyt, the fellow whom we thought might be the big story here, trying for his triple after Indianapolis and Le Mans, in for a very unscheduled pit stop.
Yes, he's in way too early, Jim. He's got to have a problem. I think he may have thought he had a vibration up front from a tire going bad, but both tires look good. It must be something else.
They got the new tires on. Now they're pointing to the left. Looks like he's going out.
Yep,
though.
they stopped.
Now they're holding him up.
Yeah, there's something wrong with the left front wheel. There definitely is. Banjos, they're going to pull up behind the wall, it looks like, Jim.
Okay, look at this, a crash on the backstretch. That is Gary Bettenhausen's car upside down in the grass. And Bob Wawak, isn't it? Yes, in car number 92.
It looks like Bob tapped him in the back coming off the second turn, Jim. I don't know whether Gary slowed down or Bob got a little out of shape and just sort of bounced off.
Let's see, I think I see somebody moving inside the car. Gary Bettenhausen is still in there. I don't know whether he's hurt or not. Here he comes.
There he is, Jim. Boy, that was a mean wreck. I didn't think he'd be crawling out of there that easy.
He is the son, of course, of the late, great Tony Bettenhausen of Indianapolis fame, but he's okay. The caution flag out now. The word is definite. A.J. Foyt is out of the race. Let's go down to him and Chris Economaki.
Oh, A.J., it's sorry to see you here so soon. What was the trouble?
Oh, we lost the wheel bearing, Chris. It's just one of them misfortune things. Seemed like every time I drive a stock car, I just can't win stock car races.
The car was going very well, though, wasn't it?
Oh, it was flying. I don't think there's a car here that would run with it, Chris. I was running real easy and just moved up a lot quicker than I thought I could. The car was just fantastic.
Two-time winner A.J. Foyt out of the race. And now back to you, Jim McKay.
Okay, well, the yellow flag is still out here at Daytona. The car's holding position And we'll be back in just a minute. The cars are going to get the green flag again here at Daytona. The pace car into the pits, and there the green flag itself. The race underway. Still in the early stages here. And boy, there's been a lot of action. This is Jim McKay reporting along with former stock car champion Red Lorenzen. And taking the lead is Buddy Baker in car number 3. Behind him, number 17 is David Pearson, number 21, Cale Yarborough.
Boy, look at that pack there, Jim, going into that first turn. They sure are riding close.
In 4th place at the moment, by the way, is Mario Andretti, who is really moving up in that car number 11. That purple car, if you're watching in color, the one that appears to be in the lead is not. That's Bobby Allison, who's already been lapped. But right now, there's Cale Yarborough. Cale Yarborough, who's in 3rd place, remember. Mario Andretti is 4th, but up on the lead, it is Buddy Baker in car number 3, along with David Pearson, number 17. There they are. A little bit of drafting going on there. So we now go back and take a look at the other car.
Last year, Jim, these cars couldn't run quite that close together, but since then they've okayed spoilers on the back of the deck lid, which hold the back ends down, and I think it allows them to run a lot closer together in packs.
Very interesting observation. Here again are the leaders, running oh so close together. Off that high banking here, 30 degrees at the Daytona International Speedway. Into the first turn again. Buddy Baker on the lead. Fine crowd. We didn't say it before, more than 40,000 people on hand for this Firecracker 400 at Daytona. Up, look out, Buddy Baker is in trouble.
He sure is. It looks like he might have a tire problem. I just don't know. The car is bouncing an awful lot, Jim, and I'm sure he'll be in the pits this next time around.
One thing is for sure, that car number 17 there is the new leader. Just that quickly, David Pearson has taken over from Buddy Baker. That means that Cale Yarborough in car number 21, that's the one on the right-hand side of your screen, is in 2nd place and moves Mario Andretti up into 3rd position, and he started way back on the 4th row. Cale Yarborough is a flat-out man from start to finish, and here comes Buddy, and gee, the front of that car is really down.
It sure is, Jim. He does have a suspension problem, and it looks like it could be a torsion bar. Maybe broke loose from the frame where it mounts. There's an awful lot of weight on it, and we'll see in a minute, but I'm quite sure this may just put him out.
There they come with tires for the right side, but it certainly is more than that.
All right, Ray Fox just waved to Buddy. Wait a minute, and we'll see, but I'll bet you they pull it behind the wall. There. He's telling everybody to stop.
He's the fellow right under the right front wheel there.
Yes, he is. There he is. He's pointing. Go behind the wall. That will be it, I'm quite sure.
Is that it? Yep, looks like Buddy Baker is going to be out of this race. A real shame, because he really had that car moving in 1st place. The leader then, remember, is David Pearson in car number 17. 2nd place is Cale Yarborough, number 21. Then number 11, which is Mario Andretti. Then number 26. Still looking at that car.
You can see that spoiler on the back of the deck lid. Next time we get a look at the car in the pits, Jim, you'll notice a little piece of metal on the back of the deck lid. That's what we call a spoiler to hold the car down in the back.
Okay, well, you sure need it at these speeds of more than 180 miles an hour. David Pearson in a Ford, now the leader, taking over from that Dodge Charger of Buddy Baker.
David's really giving that car a ride. He's building up a little lead.
Brett, a spin in the home stretch.
Boy, very bad, Jim. Looks like Mario got
Mario
in a little
Andretti,
trouble.
car number 11, and that looked like a miracle to me.
I don't know how they all got by, Jim. It was just unbelievable, and especially they're coming through there at 180 mile an hour.
There must have been 7 or 8 cars that somehow, almost miraculously, as we said, avoided Mario Andretti, who is now out of the car. The yellow flag, of course, out because there's all kinds of junk lying around out there on the track after that crash into the wall by Mario. And he takes a look at that car as if, what did you do to me this time? We'll be back at Daytona in a minute.
There stands Mario Andretti, a very lucky boy indeed. Believe me, for those cars missing him running through there at 190 is unbelievable. Look at those skid marks, Jim, and he really went a long ways.
He sure did. And you know, the last 3 times we've seen Mario in Wide World of Sports, he lost a wheel at Indianapolis. He crashed just before the S's at Le Mans, was narrowly missed by 2 other cars. And now this spin with those 7 cars just missing him. Real tough days, but lucky ones for Mario Andretti. And now cars pitting under the yellow flag. That's Darrell Dieringer, who has been lying back very, very nicely, by the way. We haven't called him too much, but he's been around 6th or 7th place. Richard Petty here, on the other hand, has been in 3 or 4 times, and he's just going for points in that NASCAR race.
I think so, Jim, because he's changing plugs right now. He's going to lose a couple of more laps in the pits, and he just wants to stay out there, which he does all the time. No matter how far he gets back, he always finishes.
Okay, as we said, just about the entire field coming in. That's Buck Baker, by the way, the father of Buddy Baker, who dropped out just a little while ago. Chris Economaki is down in the pits with Mario, whose car is being towed off right now. Let's go down there.
Well, A.J. Foyt's out, and now you're out, Mario. Tough break, but it was wild out there. What happened?
Well, running right at the start, Paul Goldsmith put me on the flat portion of the track, and when you're in that predicament, the car just automatically goes out of control.
Physically, are you okay?
Oh, yes, fine.
Mario Andretti and A.J. Foyt, the USAC drivers, both out of the contest. And now, back to you, Jim McKay.
All right, Chris, and here is how they stand under the yellow flag. The leader is David Pearson in car number 17, then number 21, Cale Yarborough, then number 71, Bobby Isaac, and now in 4th place, car number 26, the pole position winner, Darrell Dieringer. We'll be coming back here, it goes without saying, for more of this tremendous racing. Well, back here at Daytona, the weather has changed a little bit. It's cloudy and overcast now with the threat of rain, but not this race. It just goes on and on, tremendously competitive. Car number 37, suddenly moving into it is Sam McQuagg, the defending champion, and up above him, number 21 is Cale Yarborough, who had the lead, and does he have it now? You can call it as good as we can. They're side by side. This is Jim McKay along with Fred Lorenzen, former stock car champion, as we watch the goings-on here in color. And in 3rd place, that's David Pearson. In 4th place, number 71 is Bobby Isaac. All 4 of these cars battling for this lead.
And it's funny, Jim, you'd never believe they're running right around 185 right there, side by side.
That is the incredible point, Fred.
Well, it looks like McQuagg's going to take the lead, and he does. Those are team cars, McQuagg 37 and Isaac in 71, both Dodges.
And the one Sam is driving is a 2-year-old car, actually, but he's doing awfully well with it. Isaac now in 2nd place, his teammate, dropping in to catch a draft there. This banking, I think we mentioned before, but we'll mention it again, is 30 degrees, about the steepest you'll find almost any place, isn't it?
It is the steepest racetrack we run on, Jim. That's why a lot of people wonder, well, how come Daytona's faster than Indianapolis? Well, Indianapolis is quite a bit flatter. And if the Indianapolis cars were to come here at Daytona, they'd run probably 215, 225 mile an hour average around here.
The only track I know of that has steeper bank, it's the track at Monza in Italy, and they don't use that banking very much anymore. Right now, however, that's Bobby Isaac with the lead at Cale Yarborough in number 21, Sam McQuagg in 37, right alongside, battling for 2nd place, and just in your picture there, that's David Pearson in 4th position. We should mention that Darrell Dieringer, who was on the pole, is still back around 6th, 7th, or 8th place, holding right in there beautifully as he has been all day.
You can see Isaac pulling away because we have some cars fighting for 2nd back here. Now, if these cars would line up, they'd pick up another 5 mile an hour and go right to Isaac. But as long as they fight, Isaac's going to stay out there in front, I think, Jim.
Okay, well, we have Cale Yarborough, he's on the left. And then on the inside, in the darker car, David Pearson, and right behind them, Sam McQuagg, all chasing this car, number 71, the Dodge Charger of Bobby Isaac.
Look at that, Jim. 8, 9, 10 cars in the 2nd pack right there.
Almost all of them on the same lap, except for those ones you see get past. They're cars that have been lapped many times by now as we approach the halfway mark.
There we go. Now the cars are lining up. They should pick up Bobby Isaac. They'll turn, another 5 mile an hour, and they'll probably pick him up pretty quick.
These are still the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th place cars right now. 21, Cale Yarborough in 2nd place at this moment. Then David Pearson and Sam McQuagg. Where's the best place to pass on this course, Fred?
Well, I would say, Jim, either coming off the 4th turn or on the backstretch. You grab quite a draft coming off, which is known as a side suction, and it just pulls you right by your forward car. But I usually did most of mine on the backstretch.
Bobby Isaac still the leader, and now David Pearson is moving up into 2nd, just a few inches ahead of Cale Yarborough. And it was interesting what you started to say there a moment ago about the fact that Bobby Isaac's trying to break this draft and might do it the way these fellas are fighting for 2nd. Why is that?
Well, a draft, a lot of people don't understand drafting, Jim. It's just a car going through the wind. It has to push the air away to get the car through, and then when it goes through the wind, it has a turbulence behind the car that holds the car back. So when you're going to pass another car, trying to catch him, there's a draft coming off the back of his car. It just sucks you to him just like a magnet, and it also comes around the side of him. That's where later in the race you'll see maybe cars make a dive for the finish line, and this draft can actually cause a slower car to pull them right by.
That's what they call slingshotting these days, I think. But now when two cars are side by side as they are battling for second, they're not helping each other at all, is that right?
No, they're not helping. In fact, they're hurting each other. If they sit in line, then this car, say the lead car has this draft holding himself back, he loses that, and it goes over the roof of the second car.
Excuse me, there's Bobby Allison into the pits, but he had already been lapped anyway. Just keeping track of these cars. There have been a lot of retirements. That's Sam McQuagg smoking.
And it looks like an engine going, Jim. There's nothing else that smokes in a car that bad except an engine.
So Sam, the defending champion here, who made a valiant fight, he was back around 10th or 11th at one point, then moved up to take the lead. It looks like is going to be out of it as he heads for the pits. More action coming up at Daytona in just a minute. Pit stops were made under the yellow flag, and there have been shuffling of the standings. David Pearson is now the leader and passing Darrell Dieringer. That is Bobby Isaac. You remember, he was trying to break the draft that was out in front when we left you, but now he did drop back during the pit stops, had a fairly long one, and is trying to pick his way back up through the field. The leader, remember, David Pearson is in car number 17. In second place is Dick Hutcherson in car number 29. So on and on it goes before this fine crowd at Daytona. Jim McKay reporting along with Fred Lorenzen. It'll take a moment to get straightened out here. There are a couple of lap cars among the leaders here. Out in front, for example, that's Bobby Allison. You see, he's a lap behind.
He's a lap down, and so is Leroy Yarborough in the Mercury Gem.
That's at number 16, just below number 17, which is the leader in the race. And now you see 29 up high.
Yes, Hutchison's in second right now. Now there goes
Bobby Isaac.
Right.
Isaac has moved past Hutcherson and into second place. David Pearson, the leader, actually drafting on a lap car at this point. But Isaac isn't interested in drafting on Leroy Yarborough at that lap car number 16. He wants to get back up there and battle for the lead with David. Ford leading.
I might say when they come off that fourth turn by that white line, you see them drift quite a bit towards the wall. There is quite a hump there, and the cars move at least a car lane right towards the wall. So you want to ride sort of low, and if you're in traffic and have to ride high there, you do get real close to the wall, and it could get you in trouble.
Boy, that Isaac is really moving, has been for the last half hour or so in this race. Number 71, low on the track. See him?
Yes, he is. He said before the race, Jim, that he was going to lay back for half the race and really turn it on the last half.
Well, we're in the last half of the race right now, and believe me, he is turning it on.
It looks like it.
The cars with numbers that are just the inverse of each other, number 17, 1-7, and number 71, 7-1. Over that bump again out of the fourth turn. And remember, we can only call the leaders. That's all we have time here for most of the time. But there are 5 or 6 other cars still very much in this race, including Cale Yarborough, Darrell Dieringer, and several others. Call them as they come into contention.
There you see them right there. We have 9 cars in the first front pack, 7 of them in the same lap, Jeff.
And still this battle for the lead between David Pearson and Bobby Isaac. Getting very, very cloudy right now. It's getting almost dark. It started out as such a beautiful hot summer day.
Oh, it's funny. It rains here maybe an hour, and then it'll stop, and then it'll rain, and then it'll stop. And always around 1, 2 o'clock it starts raining here in Daytona Beach.
Let's hope that doesn't happen today.
I sure hope not.
Isaac with the lead now, ahead of David Pearson. And Richard Petty into the pits for the umpteenth time here. He's really been having trouble. There, a crash into the fourth turn. That's number 12, Donnie Allison, brother of Bobby Allison, who you saw in car number 6. Donnie looks like he's okay.
It does, but it looks like he hit that hump, Jim, coming off a 4, and he just got a little bit too wide and skimmed the wall, and which made him send him into a big spin.
Well, now in the confusion there, David Pearson dropped back a little bit, and Cale Yarborough has moved into second place, right behind the leader, Bobby Isaac. Changes of the lead here have been tremendous. Still a long way to go in the Firecracker 400. There's Donnie driving the car himself under his own power, but look at that left rear, or right rear.
Yes, it is. Jim, I might mention these cars are getting ready, or are due in for fuel shortly. It'd be quite a big switch to see who stays out there the longest on fuel.
Okay, well, we'll be back in a minute to see how that turns out. We're back at Daytona again, and there's kind of a tense situation in the pits right now. Fred Lorenzen, you said a minute ago that all of these cars were going to have to come in for fuel pretty soon, but nobody has.
No, Jim, and usually the Chrysler product cars with the Hemi engines they only have one carburetor. They only run about 80 miles on fuel, where it seems with the Fairlanes, the car being smaller than the Galaxy, and it's using dual quad carburetors because it's a wedge-style engine rather than a Hemi, get much better fuel distribution and much better mileage. The Fairlanes can run about 100 miles on fuel. The Charger's about 80 miles. And
well, now look, excuse me, but that's Bobby Isaac in the Charger dropping back. It looks like, right now, that doesn't look like an intentional drop back, because he's been going for the lead. And by the way, I'm sure what you mean is that it's under NASCAR rules that the Hemi engine can only have the one carburetor.
That's right, Jim, and it does hurt him on fuel consumption. I think Bobby Isaac, he's about 4 laps overdue for fuel. He's run 85 miles, and this is almost unheard of with a Charger, and I'll tell you what, I think he's in trouble right now.
He'll have no trouble coasting around to the pits, though, will he?
He won't. You can coast all the way from the finish line all the way around, but with the cars running at 180 mile an hour and him down to maybe 60 to 70 miles an hour right now, he's going to lose well over a lap, and this could put him completely out of contention for the rest of the day.
One thing it definitely means right now is that David Pearson has again taken over the lead. He keeps coming back, doesn't he, in car number 17. Cale Yarborough is now second in number 21, and Dick Hutcherson in number 29 is third, with Darrell Dieringer still sitting back there in fourth place.
Now a big thing, Jim, would be the Fords. They can stay out there for another 15 laps. If they could just keep going and maybe grab a caution, this would be a big change of the day. That would put the big 4 Fords way out front by a lap over the rest of the cars.
Gas being put in there from those large cans. It really feeds quickly, doesn't it?
It sure does, Jim. It takes about 6.5 seconds for 10 gallons of fuel. Approximately every pit stop, a good one's anywhere from 18 to 22 seconds.
And that's a pretty good one for Bobby Isaac. However, he definitely lost a lap by the time it took for the pit stop and for that coasting around that preceded it when he ran out of gas.
Right, and notice they didn't change tire. Tire wear has been fantastic here today. Tires right side running 200 miles, left side looks like they go all the way.
Number 17, David Pearson, the darker car on the lead. Cale Yarborough, however, right behind him in car number 21. As we said before, that Cale likes to go to the front. I saw him before the race. I said, what's your plan? He said, flat out all the way, as usual.
And you see Darrell still laying back as he has done all day. He's got a car that can run if he wants to let it go, I'm quite sure.
There goes Cale for the lead right now. And looks like he's going to make it. So Cale Yarborough in number 21 has taken over the lead. And coming up through a pack and finding holes is nothing new to Cale. You know, he was one of the most sought-after high school football players in the state of South Carolina not too many years ago. By the way, that gives us an opportunity, excuse me, Freddie, just to mention quickly that tonight on ABC television, in color, we're going to be seeing the Coaches All-America football game with stars like Bob Greasy of Purdue, Nick Eddy of Notre Dame, Steve Spurrier of Florida, Floyd Little of Syracuse, and a good many others. That's tonight on ABC. What were you saying, Fred?
I think really, Jim, that Darrell is really just trying to conserve fuel. Also, same with David Pearson right now. I think he's just content to sit there. As the same with Hutchison. You won't see any one of them really try to grab the lead right now and try to make it to either catch a caution flag or make it past that 100-mile mark.
Now, Fred is speaking of cars number 17, David Pearson, number 29, Dick Hutcherson, and 26, Darrell Dieringer, all hanging behind Cale Yarborough, the current leader.
I know a lot of people wondered about the 100-miler, why I ran and everybody else ran out of fuel. Well, here today, you're seeing 4 cars run over 100 miles right now.
And still remember that there are 5 or 6 other cars behind those first 4 that are still in contention in the race. One of the most fiercely contested NASCAR races we've ever seen. There's a sign for Cale. They haven't put it up yet for Cale Yarborough to pit.
And they sure do want him in. He's ran 101 miles. They're quite scared. There he is. There's Pearson slowing down in the second turn. He has got a fuel problem. He ran it a lap too long, and he's going to lose a little time. And Jim, it's getting awful dark here.
It's not only dark, I think it's beginning to rain. There's something coming down, I believe, right now. But David Pearson coming into the pits, that's the second of the leaders that has run out of gas here in the last couple of laps.
He's pointing to his front end, meaning that there's a tube coming up where they can pump gas into the carburetor with a little oil can, and you'll see a man go right to the windshield of that car and start pumping gas in the carburetor so he can get it started to prime it.
It's raining all right, and they won't let that go too long here at Daytona. Extremely dangerous in the wet on this high bank. Any place on a racetrack.
That's for sure. You can see them pumping the fuel in there with an oil can to prime the engine to get it started. They're really running them right to the very bottom drop of fuel. Now, this is going to be a big help if the caution comes out for the cars. That will put Bobby Isaac a lap behind due to him stopping under the green flag.
Well, Isaac's already a lap behind. Now David Pearson also stopping. And now the yellow comes out because of the rain. So had he been able to go another lap, David would have been in much better shape.
Well, it doesn't look like it hurt him, Jim, because Cale didn't come around yet, and the pace car will grab Cale. David will be able to go all the way around and sit right behind in the same lap.
Yeah, Cale's in the pits right now.
He sure is.
So all the cars pitting under the yellow flag. And this rain coming down. Now there is a yellow flag now, but look, you can see from Darrell Deringer's car, and by the way, in this reshuffling here, he has taken the lead at the moment. Well, last week we had champagne on our lens at Le Mans. This week it's rain on the lens at Daytona. Back in a minute to see what happens. Back again at Daytona, and the rain is really coming down now. Somewhat surprisingly, they're still running, albeit very slowly, under the yellow flag. I've never seen them run at all in rain this heavy, Fred.
No, Jim, and Darrell hasn't pitted yet.
Oh, that's right. I'm sure there is Darrell going down low, the leader. We're going to be going on to the surfing again. Wait a minute, he's in trouble, I think.
It looks like
What in the world happened to that lead car, Fred?
I don't know, Jim. He dropped off the bank looking like he maybe ran out of fuel, and he couldn't keep it under control. They're running right at 100 miles an hour in the rain.
Still under the yellow flag. But now, he's stuck around there. He'll have to be towed or pushed or pulled or something around to the pits as this rain comes down heavier and heavier. And things are really in wild shape here at Daytona right now. The red flag. Now that means that the race is going to be stopped, at least temporarily. All the cars will come into the pits and line up in single file. When and if the rain stops, they will resume in single file in the order that they were when they stopped. The forecast was for showers today. Every expectation here is that the race will resume, but it could be a while. That track's really wet, Freddie.
Oh, it will take quite a while, Jim.
Well, there's Diringer being pushed around to the pits. We're going to move on now temporarily to Makaha Beach again and Bill Fleming. Thank you very much, Bill. Well, back here at Daytona, this wonderfully exciting Firecracker 400 stock car race has been restarted under the yellow flag. The car's still running behind the pace car. Now, the reason for that is that the track is still wet. However, one of the best ways to dry a racetrack is to have the race cars themselves go around it and dry it out with their tires. Is that right, Fred Lorenzen?
Right, Jim. It's going to take maybe 15 or 20 laps. I don't look for them to start this race until about 90 to 100 miles to go. And it looks like they're getting ready to start it because these cars are coming in for what might be, and I think it is, their last fuel stop.
Well, this, for example, is car number 21, Cale Yarborough, who had been running second. Dick Hutcherson, number 29, is also in the pits. The leader is David Pearson in car number 17. But right now, it means it's 17, David Pearson, and in second place with Yarborough and Hutcherson in the pits is Darrell Diringer. All getting their final.
An awful fast stop for Hutcherson, Jim. He didn't change tires on the right side. Cale is changing tires.
Bit of gas dripping from the rear of the car, but that's nothing. That's all off there already. And Dick Hutcherson is back out there. And now, here is Cale Yarborough. Starting a little slowly, I think.
Very slowly away from the pits. It looked for me for a minute that he might have had a shifting problem, but he's still running slowly, but he's getting going, Jim.
Okay, so the order is now David Pearson, 17, Darrell Diringer, number 26, Dick Hutcherson, 29, and here's some more cars coming in, and I think, yeah, David Pearson is in this group coming into the pits. At 71, Bobby Isaac, who led for a while, but who is now more than a lap behind, and here's the leader in the race, David Pearson. However, as soon as he comes into the pits, he ceases being the leader as Darrell Diringer goes by and takes over first place.
Well, I guess he just wanted to wait. There's only going to be about 2 more laps. They're going to drop the green, Jim. The flag is still, not the flag, the racetrack is still damp, but it's not dry.
I think the flag's a little damp, too, as a matter of fact. It really rained here. David Pearson getting those tires changed on the right side. Looks like he might be a little on the long side compared to Yarborough and Hutcherson.
They had a little tire problem in the right rear there, or a lug nut, but he's getting out now. Won't hurt him at all because the pace car is still out, Joe.
Okay, well, with the yellow flag still out, I had a conversation earlier with Parnelli Jones, who's not driving in this race, but who was the driver of the controversial turbine car that very nearly won Indianapolis this year until it broke down with a couple of laps to go. Just last week, the USAC directorship made a ruling against the turbine car, limiting the size of its air intake. I asked Parnelli if that was going to, in effect, knock his car out of the race next year.
Well, I certainly feel that they have. I don't feel that the car had as big of edge as everyone thought it might have. I do think it had a little bit of an edge, maybe a mile or 2 miles an hour. And if I could outrun my competition there by 1 mile an hour, at the end of the race I should be 3.5 miles ahead. And I feel that the car didn't have much more of an edge than that. And the restriction that they put on the automobile, certainly I'm not looking forward and trying to go beat my head up against the wall and try to qualify at the car next year, because it's just impossible.
If you could try for a moment to think that you were not the driver of the car, just from somebody who is interested in motor racing, are you sorry to see it go?
Well, I think that certainly I am for the betterment of automobile racing, and I think that this car has done a great deal for automobile racing, you know. Anything to harm that, and I think if the car had an extreme edge like everybody has anticipated that it has, I think that restrictions should have been put on it a great deal. But I just think it was unfair, and I think it's got to hurt automobile racing or affect it somehow. And I know that a lot of people certainly would like to see that type of car run at Indianapolis, or any type of automobile that is different. And I think that that type of engine, I think that the turbo jet engine is certainly going to replace the piston engine. Now, it may be way ahead of our time at the point, but I think that in a few years, maybe 10, 15, I don't know how long it's going to take, but I think that the piston engine is eventually going to be a thing of the past.
That was Parnelli Jones commenting on the recent ruling limiting the size of his perhaps late lamented turbine car. What do you think about that ruling, Fred?
Well, auto racing, Jim, is strictly made of so many cars on the highway, so many engines made. We go through this every year with Bill France and, in NASCAR. USAC has the same rules, same with body structures, and I would say, I'll explain a little bit more if we get under the green flag here.
Well, the green flag has dropped again, with Darrell Dieringer, the leader in the race. Darrell Dieringer, in that yellow number 26 pole sitter, has taken the lead again. First time in a long while.
Back to the turbine car, Jim, I would say that I don't look for it. I think it's a little bit too early. I think that USAC did the right thing. I don't think it should be allowed until you see more of them on the street. I think it's about 10 years too early, just like Parnelli said, and it has quite a bit of an edge over the piston car, and I think until more of them get on the road, just like stock cars and in production, I don't think that they should run.
Well, that's Fred Lorenzen's opinion on the ruling against the turbine car last week. We'll be back here for the Firecracker 400 in just a minute. We return again to Daytona, where Fords are running 1, 2, 3, 4, and look at how close together they are running. In the Firecracker 400, David Pearson on the high side there, in the lead at the moment, just ahead of Darrell Dieringer, and behind them, Cale Yarborough in number 21, Dick Hutcherson in number 29. Freddie, is this the same engine, basically, that the winning Ford ran at Le Mans?
It's almost an identical engine, Jim, a 427 wedge engine with dual quad carburetors. Just about the exact same engine they ran and won with it at Le Mans. And believe me, there's a lot of Ford brass here today. And these are all 4 factory-back Fords, and believe me, I'm sure they're quite happy.
Well, they should be right now. Look at these cars battling it out. That's still David Pearson with about a 3-inch lead right now. But Darrell's going for it and takes it. No doubt temporarily, the way this race has been going. Cale Yarborough just between them and behind them there. Now drafting on Pearson. That's Dick Hutcherson. All 4 of these cars are in the same draft. Well, except for the 2 alongside each other, right?
Notice, and right, Jim, and also notice that really Hutcherson has never made a bid to lead this race all day. You've never seen him fight with a leader. He's always been there. Darrell has been fighting more for the lead lately. Now he just looks like he's going to drop back.
Doesn't look like there's anything wrong with this car, does it?
No, he's just absolutely dropping back. They're really playing with each other. All of them are capable of winning it, I think. They can all run about the same speed. David may be a little stronger, but it seems like they're just trying to play each other coming off this 4th turn, getting set up to draft for this last lap. That's going to be the big one.
Well, they actually kind of practiced getting in a draft and then slingshotting past somebody to see if they can do it?
That's what they're doing, Jim. They're practicing. You'll notice in a couple minutes here, they'll probably start practicing on the backstretch to see if they can take the lead down the backstretch and hold it all the way across the finish line.
Still Darrell Diringer back there in 4th place. David Pearson up on the lead in car number 17. Right behind him, Cale Yarborough, remember, that's number 21. Just about a foot and a half behind him. Another couple feet back, Dick Hutcherson. And then Darrell Diringer. This is about as close a race as I have ever seen any place, Freddie, with 4 cars this close and not very far to go.
It's the closest one I've ever seen here at Daytona, Jim. The last one that was that close was in 1963. I was in it with Fireball Roberts, and I think it was Marvin Panch. 3 of us came across the line in 63 Fords, and I led it for the last lap, but I lost it. Fireball drafted by me and beat me by a fender. So believe me, this last lap's going to be something.
The 5th car you saw a moment ago was Bobby Isaac in car number 71, but you don't have to worry about him. He's a lap behind now. He lost it earlier in the race. It's these 4 cars battling it out. And literally impossible to say who's going to win the race, isn't it, Fred?
I would say so, Jim. Now you can see Darrell slingshotting Cale, getting set up to see if he can get David coming up for the checkered. Now, watch his strategy here. And if he sees he can't pull him, he's going to try to get, say, the lead car coming down the back. Now, he's going to move to the inside here, maybe. No, he's just going to sit it out and draft, it looks like. There he makes his move, trying to draft by, sees he can't make it. So he's going to use some different strategy coming up for the checker.
These are kind of high speeds for rehearsal, aren't they?
Yeah, they're turning laps right at 179.5 to 180 mile an hour. The track is still damp, though, coming off the 4th turn. There are some puddles. Down this main straightaway right on the apron by the finish line.
Now, Darrell Diringer in front, and look at that. Pearson almost right on his bumper. And Yarborough right on his bumper. Now opening up just a little bit more again. Pearson with the lead, but they're still well in his draft. It's still a 4-car race to the wire. We'll be back for the finish in a minute. The battle continues at Daytona International Speedway in the most exciting stock car race we've ever seen. In the lead right now is Darrell Diringer in that car number 26, and just behind him, Cale Yarborough in car number 21, then David Pearson in the darker car number 17, and Dick Hutcherson in number 29. 4 cars, and any one of them can win the race easily. Not easily, whoever wins it, but I mean, certainly any one of them can win it, right, Fred?
They sure can. I've been beat here twice by this drafting deal, so believe me, I know, and I know how it hurts, and you've really got to use your head that last lap. It's hard not to lead it, but you just can't lead it that white flag lap, because they're going to draft by you for the checker.
Darrell Diringer trying to break out of that draft right now?
It looks like he is, but I doubt it. Cale has just backed off to slingshot him. You watch Cale just slingshot right by him, just practicing that for that last lap. Getting ready.
Very fast speeds to be doing any kind of practicing at over 180 miles an hour. But on this battle goes Cale Yarborough, now back in the lead again. Darrell Diringer 2nd, Pearson 3rd in number 17, and Hutcherson 4th in number 29. Dick Hutcherson, who's been hanging back there in a very strategic position, has never won one of these really big races, has he, Fred?
No, he hasn't, and he told me yesterday, he said, boy, he'd sure like to win this thing, that his car was running well, he wasn't turning the engine too tight, his fuel consumption was good, and that he was going to lay back until the final laps, and that looks like what he's doing here today. I just hope that he works everything right, but you just never know.
Keep an eye on that 4th place car, then. There he is, just behind David Pearson. With that little gap between them and the first 2 cars of Darrell Diringer and Cale Yarborough. Get the feeling of speed there, don't you, as the crowd flies by.
Well, I'm sure they'll never see a finish like this. 2/3 of the people went home about 2 o'clock because of the rain, and boy, they're really missing a show. You will probably never see another one like it.
The faithful are really being rewarded here this afternoon.
There goes David. David is falling back. He just hit looked like a puddle right at the finish line. He might have broke a wheel loose. What I mean by that is his engine RPM went way up. It was just like hitting a patch of ice. The track is still wet in spots, and he has dropped back. Maybe he thinks he had engine trouble or something, but he's lost about 3 to 4 seconds, right? Just like that.
What a tough break for David Pearson in the closing stages of this race, when he's gone all this waste. Now there goes Darrell Diringer again. I think Cale's letting him goodbye to draft again. Before the race began today, I asked Cale if drafting is more important here than any place else.
Yes, this is a place where we do more drafting. We run so fast down here. We run at speeds close to 200 miles an hour down the straightaways, and you can take a car that won't run quite as fast as another car and run right with him, or maybe even pass him. And this drafting really plays a tremendous part in a race down at Daytona Beach.
That was Cale Yarborough discussing the matter of drafting, which has become all important in this race right now. By the way, in Europe, they call it slipstreaming over there, but it's the same thing. If you hear anybody talking about slipstreaming on a Formula One Grand Prix race, it's exactly the same thing as they call drafting here in the stock cars. And there goes Cale again.
He sure is. He's just still trying that slingshotting, and believe me, they sure are practicing for it. They might wear their cars out, I guess.
And again, by slingshotting, Freddie means the idea that not only are you pulled along while drafting, but when you pull out of the draft, you get a forward push just as you come out of it that enables you to pass the fellow you've been drafting on.
Even if you're a slower car, you do just for an instant, and then you would drop back behind him again.
But at the end of this race, whoever gets that slingshot effect, perhaps for that half a second, is going to win the race. We'll be back for that finish in a minute. There are just 3.5 laps left to go in the Firecracker 400, and the battle goes on. It's a 3-car fight now, with David Pearson apparently having dropped back too far. Cale Yarborough the leader, but there comes Hutcherson bursting through, and it looks like Dick has decided to take the lead.
It sure is the first time today, Jim, and he has bursted out front. I didn't think he'd do it till right at the end, but I guess it's getting pretty close, and he's making an awful early move.
Sure creates a problem for him with those 2 cars, Cale Yarborough 21 and Darrell Dieringer number 26 right on his tail. And now there are 3 laps to go.
Well, it's going to really be a finish, Jim. As you notice, nobody else is trying to do any passing right now. They're really getting set up for that last lap, and I don't think they're going to pass until that last lap.
Kind of like a chess game at 180 miles an hour.
Well, I might add that the first place pays $16,000 for first, and it drops all the way to $5,000 for second. So, believe me, $10,000 for just a little suction or a draft for the last 100 feet is a big difference. That's about a year's pay to the average person.
The way things are going, it may well average out about $1,000 an inch for the winner.
It sure could, and believe me, don't think that Cale or Darrell really aren't thinking.
Dick Hutcherson still in the lead, however. He's got to be the man to beat right now. Cale Yarborough second, Darrell Dieringer third. And now there are 2 laps to go.
It's a funny thing here, Jim. You'll notice maybe one car pull quite a ways ahead here than the other one, say coming off the turn going down the back, like right here. That's because he may be trying to slow down to let the other cars pass him, but they won't do it, and they absolutely back off too.
You know that David Pearson's doing a good job of catching up. We saw him and then panned over to the 3 leaders. I don't think he can catch him, but he's made up a couple of those 4 seconds.
Yes, he has. He's only about a 1.5 seconds behind now. Jimmy's made up an awful lot of time. But as I say, these lead cars have slowed down quite a bit because I think Hutcherson is wanting Cale to pass him, and Cale won't do it.
And Darrell won't pass Cale, so let's see what happens. They're still going about 175 miles an hour.
They've slowed down about 5 miles an hour off the pace, but that's because they're all wanting each other to pass each other.
And that was the white flag indicating 1 lap to go. This 160-lap race has now become a 1-lap race because the issue is still in doubt.
There's the first turn, Jim. We're going through the first and second turn, and this going into the third turn is probably where one of them will make their move, but I look for the winner to do it coming off the 4th turn, but we'll just see.
Off the banking onto the backstretch, 3,400 feet long. Cale moving up now on the inside.
There goes Cale making an awful early move.
There's Darrell on the outside.
Now there's the suction that I was talking about.
So Dick Hutcherson has been dropped back into 3rd place. They're in the 3rd turn, 1 more turn to go, and then they'll hit for the finish line on the high banking.
Dick is still set up real well to get this checkered flag. Now there's where I would sit if I was going to try to win it, right where Hutcherson is. See that puff of smoke? It looked like he had to back off the throttler to keep from hitting Cale.
Made his move, but he couldn't do it. Cale Yarborough is the winner of the race in car number 21. Car number 29, Dick Hutcherson, is second, and car number 26, Darrell Dieringer, finishes 3rd in the most exciting stock car race I have ever seen in my life.
Well, it was sure quite a finish.
You'll meet a very happy Cale Yarborough in a minute.
Well, Cale, it's a big one. And 2nd Super Speedway win of the year. Congratulations. But what about that final lap?
Well, Chris, it was a pretty rough lap. I was leading the race with about 10 laps to go. Even stayed in the lead about down to about 7. But this place, if you lead the last lap and there's somebody running close, you'll never win it. So I dropped back to second place, and I knew if I could stay in second on the last lap, I'd win the race, and it paid off.
Well, we had a long break, but it was well worth waiting for, wasn't it?
Sure was, Chris. And I'd like to thank the Wood Brothers for their tremendous job in preparing this car, and Goodyear Rubber Company and Pure Oil and everybody concerned.
It certainly wasn't a soggy firecracker for you, Cale Yarborough, was it?
No, it wasn't. It was a big explosion.
There you have the winner of the Firecracker 400, Cale Yarborough of Timmonsville, South Carolina. And now, back to you, Jim McKay.
Okay, Chris, thanks for a fine job, by the way, and also to Freddie Lorenzen for his expert commentary. Here, again, is the way they finished. Cale Yarborough, the winner, Dick Hutcherson, second, Darrell Dieringer, third, David Pearson, fourth, all of them in 1967 Fords, and Bobby Isaac, fifth in his 67 Dodge. That's the story on the 1967 Firecracker 400. The executive producer of ABC's Wide World of Sports is Roone Arledge. Firecracker 400 produced by Chet Forte and directed by Andy Sedaris. The surfing produced by Jim Spence and directed by John Orloff. Our associate directors were Ronald Hawkins and Lou Frederick. Technical director in Daytona, Werner Gunther. Now, next week on Wide World of Sports, the Grand Prix of France, the Queen's Cup polo match, a preview of the upcoming America's Cup yacht races, and a special repeat of the National Tourist Trophy Motorcycle Championship. And by the way, don't forget the Coaches All-America football game tonight on ABC in color. For right now, then, this is Jim McKay, speaking also for Fred Lorenzen and Chris Economaki, saying so long. Today's program was pre-recorded.